Imagine a single drop of blood carrying the echo of ancient seas and the footsteps of the world's earliest wanderers. In the Philippines, an archipelago of 7,641 islands, lies a genetic mosaic more intricate than coral or volcanic rock. Here, DNA doesn't just link families, it connects us to migrations older than memory. For over 50,000 years, waves of people reached these shores. Negrito hunter-gatherers from humanity's dawn, Austronesian voyagers who conquered the Pacific, Chinese merchants guided by the monsoon, Spanish colonizers who left faint European traces, and South Asian traders weaving new threads into island ports. Today, this fusion lives in more than 117 million Filipinos. But who are they truly, and why do the faces of one nation hold so many stories? The earliest known inhabitants of the Philippines were the Negrito groups Ida, Adi, Agda, Mamanwa, and others. Their DNA is some of the oldest in Southeast Asia, carrying unique markers found nowhere else in such high concentration. They possess the highest known levels of Denisovan ancestry on Earth, more than even Papuans and Australians. This ancestry comes from an ancient human species that vanished tens of thousands of years ago, yet their genetic signatures remain alive in certain Philippine communities. Negrito phenotypes: dark skin, curly or frizzy hair, smaller stature, reflect adaptations shaped over tens of thousands of years in tropical forests. Their ancestry forms one of the deepest layers of the Filipino genetic landscape. 4,000 to 5,000 years ago, a new wave arrived: Austronesian-speaking farmers and sailors from Taiwan. They spread through Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, mixing with local Negrito groups but retaining a strong core of Austronesian genes. Today, most Filipinos carry dominant Austronesian ancestry, visible in straight to wavy hair, medium to light brown skin, Southeast Asian facial structures, linguistic links from Luzon to Polynesia. This genetic layer formed the foundation of the Tagalog, Cebuano, Ilocano, Bisaya, Bicol, Wari, and Hiligaynon peoples. Beginning over 1,000 years ago and peaking during the Ming Dynasty, Chinese traders settled in coastal towns, married local women, and introduced Han-related East Asian ancestry. This influence is strongest in Metro Manila, Cebu, Iloilo, major trade ports. Some Filipino families exhibit more East Asian facial traits: straighter hair, narrower eyes, lighter complexions, reflecting this genetic exchange. Chinese Filipino communities today represent around 2 to 3% of the population by identity, but East Asian ancestry is present to some degree across many lowland groups. For over 1,500 years, South Asian merchants from India and Sri Lanka traveled across the Indian Ocean trade routes into the Visayas and Mindanao. Their genetic influence is small but detectable, often appearing as minor South Asian ancestry in DNA tests among Filipinos with coastal or Muslim heritage. This connection is also seen in ancient loanwords, early trade goods, Hindu-Buddhist cultural influences before Islam and Christianity arrived. Spanish rule introduced a limited but noticeable European genetic signature, most concentrated in families with long histories in urban centers or elite positions. Despite 333 years of Spanish rule, studies show that European DNA in Filipinos is usually small, often around only a few percent except in certain families. Later, American presence added another small layer of Western ancestry, again more common in urban regions. Large population-wide genome studies describe Filipinos as a blend of Austronesian ancestry majority and dominant indigenous Negrito ancestry variable, highest in certain groups. Han Chinese-related East Asian ancestry small to moderate, European ancestry small, South Asian ancestry trace to small. This is supported by the National Geographic Genographic Project and the largest modern Philippine genomic studies. Tagalog 28.1%, a blend of Austronesian foundations, small Negrito contributions, and the highest mix of Chinese and Spanish ancestry in the country due to Manila's trade history. Cebuano 13.1%, strongly Austronesian with island-specific adaptations: wavy to straight hair, medium brown skin, and a mixture of Visayan regional features. Ilocano 9%, Austronesian with tight-knit genetic drift from mountain valleys, often slightly lighter skinned, with narrower facial structures. Visayan/Bisaya 7.6%, Austronesian core with diverse island-by-island variation. Hiligaynon 7.5%, often shows subtle Chinese and South Asian traces due to trade-rich Iloilo. Bicol 6%, distinct regional traits shaped by albais, volcanic isolation, and maritime trade. Wari 3.4%, strong Austronesian indigenous blend with unique phenotypes shaped by centuries of coastal isolation. Chinese Filipino 2.5%, self-identified, a visible cultural and genetic community with deep roots in trade, business, and urban centers. Others 22.8%, Igorot, Lumad, Maranao, Tausig, Samabujo, and dozens more ethnic groups, each with their own genetic patterns. The Jewish Filipino community is small in number, historically between 100 and 500 individuals, yet culturally significant, centered in Manila, especially Makati, where Beth Yaakov Synagogue stands. This community reflects waves of refugees and traders, from the earliest Negrito groups who walked these islands islands when the world was still young, to the Austronesian navigators who crossed the ocean long before any empire sailed it, to the waves of Asian traders, colonial forces, and modern migrations. Every thread adds depth to what it means to be Filipino. If you learned something new today about your heritage, about the Philippines, or about the hidden complexity inside every human being, make sure to subscribe and like if you haven't already. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss the next deep dive into world ancestries and DNA. Comment below which ethnic group in the Philippines surprised you the most. See you next time.